So I hope all of you are familiar with stock market. Everybody is familiar with stock market? Yeah. Just to start off. And is English okay as a language or should I use Hindi? English is okay? Okay, great. So SIPs, gold, FDs, real estate, PPF, etc. are the normal form of investment asset classes that we all invest in. How many of you all have got FD? Please. Okay, great. What is the kind of return that we get in FD?
5 to 6%.
6% minus inflation. My friend from HDFC was speaking about inflation. So, you minus inflation, what are you left with? And then tax. So you have negative return, right? But I don't have anything against FD. I also have a little portion of my investments in FD. But the point that I'm trying to drive over here is that we invest in any asset class so that we can make some return, right? After putting in your hard-earned savings into a bank FD or any other asset class, you expect some kind of return so that your future gets taken care of. Am I right? Great. So you get 5.5%, 6% in FD, and I'm sure all of you will invest in equity markets. And this will be an interactive session, okay? So please participate. What is the kind of return you expect from your investment in stock market on 1 year, 1.5, 2 year kind of 1 year? Let's say 1 year. What is the kind of return that you expect in terms of percentage, of course?
20%.
15 to 20.
15 to 20. Everybody is happy with that, right?
Reasonable expectation.
Okay, great. How many of you all, for example, if you bought an XYZ company for 100 rupees, 20% return if you take it is about 20 rupees, right? So it's 120. How many of you all actually book profits when you get that 20% return? Please put up your hands. And may I please ask why? You all already said, right? 20% if you get, you are happy, right? And I'm sure you would have definitely got 20% return, at least in the last 18 months. So what expecting more is basically greed. Am I right? And then when you're getting that 120%, there is a Black Monday or a Black Friday. I'm sure everybody must have experienced that, right? So your 120 rupees becomes 115, 110, 105, 100, 95, 90 and 80. So what has greed taught you?
20% loss.
40%. 20% of your profit and 20% of your capital. So 40% loss. So in profit you don't want to sell because you have greed. In loss you will never sell. So please, may I ask a question? Then what do you want to do in stock market? Okay, this keep investing, that is right. But stock market is like a black hole. How much ever you put is less. And as retail investors, we have limitations. Am I right? Please correct me in terms of our capital, how much you can put. So please introspect about this. It's very important to regularly book profits. And that is the reason why you invest in stock market. You don't want to book profits, you don't want to book loss. So भैया stock market में क्या करना है आप लोगों को? So this is something that I want to please understand this. If you getting 120, it is not necessary if the company is good, doing well in terms of quarterly earnings, etc., etc. It is not necessary you should sell your entire investment, but at least book 30, 40, 50% profit. By that you will bring home some capital, little bit of profit, which you can again deploy it in some other stock. This is how you create a portfolio. Everybody agrees with me? Yes. Great. So 18 months has taught all of us great lessons. Am I right? 25,900 was the low of Sensex, end of March, beginning April when the lockdown was announced. 7,600 or there was, I think, Nifty. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Did anybody imagine we could come to 62,200 on Sensex and 18,600 on the Nifty. Nobody could. I was one of the most optimistic guys. Being in stock market, you have to be optimistic. As simple as that. And regularly, in fact, during the lockdown, because there were travel restrictions, I could not travel, but there was always technology that was available at my hand. So we did a lot of webinars, Zoom meetings, etc., etc. Not only restricted to India, but we also have our JVs in Middle East. So we did about 2 or 3 webinars for our Middle East joint ventures also. And I'm telling you, friends, stock market will throw all kinds of unpleasant things at you, and it will throw all kinds of pleasant things also, because that is stock market. Unfortunately, how much of correction we have had, can anybody tell me? From 62,200 to maybe about what, sub 57,000, right? Sensex just went sub 50, then it's recovered. It was not even 10%. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And if we are not able to digest that 10% correction, then do we really need to come to stock market? Is something that again you have to ask yourself. So, and believe me, if you see it in terms of points, it will look big, right? But if you see it in terms of percentage, it will be less. So don't look at point-wise correction. Look at the Sensex level and the percentage. You will be then convinced. People make a lot of noise, especially on TV channels. There are a lot of anchors who make a lot of noise. 2000 पॉइंट गिर गया, अरे भाई 10,000 पॉइंट ऊपर भी तो गया है. So you have to look it in that perspective. And I'll tell you, friends, if we don't grab this opportunity to invest in stock market, I think we'll be losing out on the growth story that lies ahead of us. Just today we had the monetary policy by RBI, status quo, and it will remain so for some time. GDP growth rate 8.40%, correct me if I'm wrong, recently announced, right? And in terms of your IIP data also, we are doing reasonably well. Only problem point is inflation. That is something that we need to be a little bit cautious about. But a growing economy can afford a little bit of higher inflation also, because it comes as a part and parcel. So I'm quite sure that going forward, even if I take, let's take for example, this financial year, we have seen 2 quarters of earnings. Third and fourth quarter is remaining to come. Our back of the envelope calculation that we did tells us that even if the Sensex or Nifty has to grow by conservative side 15% every year, then in 5 years you can very well calculate what the Sensex and Nifty is going to be. Because Sensex and Nifty reflects the earning of the companies which are in index, Sensex. So those who feel that this market is nothing but a place to gamble, they are highly mistaken. Me personally, I'll tell you, my friend from HDFC was talking about SIPs. Because of certain restrictions, I cannot invest directly into stock market because there are a lot of regulations, all that, lot of disclosures, lot of compliance and all that. I have been actively investing in SIPs for the last 15 years. Last 15 years. I started in 2005, 2006 or thereabouts. And mind you, what figures my friend showed you has worked for me. And I have never stopped a single SIP. Whether it is 2008, whether it was COVID-19 pandemic, or whether it was oil crisis, I did not stop. I in fact added, I topped up. Suppose if I had a 5,000 SIP, I got some savings in my savings bank account, I have put it in the SIP. This is how wealth is created, friends. And I'm quite sure, friends, that going forward, we as an economy, you know, there is something that I always tell my friends in Geojit. There are people who worry about FIs selling. There is no need for FIs, to be very honest. If you ask me personally, I think we don't need FIs. And if FIs were so intelligent, then please answer my question. 2008, there was financial crisis, right? What was it? Lehman Brothers crisis. Where did it started?
US.
If they were so intelligent, would that financial crisis ever happen? So we know our economy, we know our country, and we very well understand what the growth trajectory is. We don't need any foreigners to come and tell us where India is going. We ourselves know it very well. And I'll tell you one more thing. In the last 18 months, friends, I'm sure you must have read it in newspapers and heard it in news channels also. Last 18 months, there were record number of demat accounts that were opened. Along with that, there were individual clients account for a company like Geojit. We also made a record account opening. So the awareness amongst investors is growing about equity market. And from maybe a total population 140 crores, we have just about lower single digit 4% investing into equity market. If this 4% goes to 6%, we will not need any foreigners to come and invest in India. We ourselves will write our history and we'll ourselves make records. So my friends, this is an opportunity. Unfortunately, I normally talk about stocks, but there are compliance issues. So I will restrict myself to certain sectors. But a detailed stock list, individual sector-wise, is available with our team in your city of Hyderabad. They will definitely mail it to you. Because of compliance, I will not be able to talk about specific stocks, but I'll definitely talk about certain sectors. And I'll try to rationalize why we are positive about those sectors also. But before I go there are two aspects that we need to keep in mind, which is very important for an economy like India. And since we are highly dependent on imports of crude oil prices and rupee dollar equation, these are two things that we need to be a little bit careful about. Of course, because of this Omicron, certain restrictions, travel restrictions, crude oil prices from $85 a barrel has corrected to sub 70 or close to $70 a barrel. Brent. NYMEX is a little bit below $70 a barrel. So this is good news. But on the other side, we have a rupee which is weakening, 75 rupees to a dollar. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is something that we need to worry. But it is a short to medium term kind of a worry. OPEC plus nations are thinking about increasing the output of crude oil, which will possibly bring down the crude oil prices as we go forward from here on. Rupee dollar equation, I hope wisdom will prevail upon the Monetary Policy Committee and RBI governor, and they will do right policies and dollar flows will definitely come into India. Once dollar flows come into India, rupee will automatically gain a little bit of strength as we go forward from here on. So this is something that we need to be a little bit careful. But as an economy, friends, I think you can hate India, but you cannot ignore India. This is something that I want to tell you very clearly, especially to those people who are skeptical. And I'll tell you one thing, we feel very happy seeing Brazil index at all-time high. We feel very happy US index at all-time high. But when it comes to our market, there is something that we don't accept. I don't know why this is it. And this is the fact. And let me tell you, 62,200 or 18,600 on the Nifty or Sensex, this is not the limit. We are capable of going much, much higher. Simple calculation I told you. If you take 15% annual earnings growth, and if you reflect that on the Sensex, 15% multiplied to the Sensex base and Nifty base, and you can very well calculate in the next 3 to 4 years or 5 years where markets are going to be. I don't want to put any numbers, but this is the fact and this will happen. And the most important thing, friends, is COVID-19 had its own negativities and it has its own positivities. And one of the positives that I want to share with you is China plus one policy. And I hope you all have heard about China plus one. Lot of nations were dependent on China in terms of their services, manufacturing or services. Those focus from China has now shifted to Southeast Asia. And India is one of the beneficiaries like other countries. And I'm quite sure, friends, at the beginning of the rally that we've seen, thank you so much. The rally that we've seen, corrections will come. At 60,000 plus Sensex, you will get 1,000 points correction, you will get 1,500 points correction. I am not bothered. In fact, that is the buying opportunity. How many of you all actually bought on Black Monday and Black Friday that we saw just about a week back? How many of actually went and bought and invested in stock market? Please put up your hand. When market has fallen, there will be people who will use that as an opportunity. But at the flip side, when markets are up like we saw yesterday 800 points, today about 1000 points, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. When markets are up, everybody will rush to the market to go and buy stocks. That is the most wrong approach. I'll give you another example. The same stock XYZ company, 100 rupees price, okay? The share is trading at 100 rupees. Market is up 1000 points. Will that 100 rupee share will be available at 100 rupees or 110? 110, right? So you are buying 10% expensive. Same stock, market is down 1000 points. Will it be available at 100 or 90?
90.
You are buying 10% discount. What makes sense? Buying cheaper, right? And by that, 15% that you told me, you increase it to 25%. Are you getting what I'm saying? And you are not buying it from today, tomorrow, day after perspective. You are buying it from a longer time horizon. And when you buy stocks, and I am one of the most, I get happy. You must be thinking I'm a sadist, but I feel very happy when markets go down. Because I get to invest. I get to invest cheap. This is what you should also approach the market with, this logic. Whenever markets are up, don't rush into the market. Whenever the markets are down, please take the trouble to call up your Geojit dealer and order what you want to purchase. This makes absolute logical sense. So this China plus one policy has got a lot of positivity in itself. Along with that, friends, Government of India has also announced PLI scheme, Production Linked Incentive. It covers almost 12 odd sectors, and maybe more sectors it will cover as we go forward from here on. This is going to throw so much of earnings growth in the next couple of years that this 15%, like I said, it's a very conservative annual growth that I'm talking about. It can go to 18, it can go to 20, subject to provided conditions which are existing does not repeat itself. We do not face another problem going forward from here on. Even if we do, last 18 months, COVID has taught me a lesson. And I tell you, March, April last year when the market started falling, my wife told me, and she is my fund manager, to be very honest, let me tell you that. I leave it up to her. She tells me which funds to invest in and all that. She actually told me, Gaurang, this is the great time. Why don't you do additional top up? So from that, for example, if I was doing 5,000 SIP, I multiplied it to 15,000. And in that last 18 months, only 18 months return I'm telling you. Fantastic return. Started a new SIP in the last 18 months and it's giving fantastic return. If you are not understanding stock market, then don't venture into the stock market. SIP is a fantastic product which will help you create wealth for your future as well as for the future of your family dependents also. And if you want, and I personally feel that instead of buying quantity of unknown stocks, it is better to buy quality. Don't go and buy unknown stocks, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Don't do that mistake. Because if you buy quantity, but if you don't buy quality, your capital get. Don't do that mistake. And don't fall into that trap also. And I'll tell you one thing, please stay away from this evil called social media. You will be surprised, I have got two cell phones. One is my official, one is my personal. I don't have WhatsApp, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook. I have not downloaded those apps. And I'm very happy, I sleep peacefully at night. And my family is also very happy because quality time is spent with them. And you can understand, without those apps, if the time is so much occupied for me, by the grace of God or by the grace of that evil called social media, if I download it, what kind of quality will I have? No quality, only quantity. This is the same thing. So please stay away from all these social media and those flying rumors. It's a little bit, it's a nuisance that is started, and I just wanted to share this because a lot of SMSs I also get. Though I'm not on any social media, I get SMSs. Multiply your money by 2 times or 3 times. Pay some amount. All that is all bogus. Please don't do that. And let me tell you, if making money in stock market was so easy, then we will not have poverty in India. We will not have beggars at sea. Everybody will be investing in stock market. Am I right? So this is an asset class, and I'll tell you one more thing. Be it FD, be it PPF, be it gold, be it real estate and equity. AMFI, that is Association of Mutual Fund of India, did a little bit of data crunching of last 15 to 20 years to find out which is the best asset class in terms of investment. And when they did that data crunching, the result that came out was equity market gave the best return over a longer period of time. Subject to provided, again, you have bought quality, not quantity. Long term. So I want to drive home this point very clearly because I have experienced it myself and I wanted to share this with you all. So coming to sectors now, there are a couple of sectors that we at Geojit are extremely positive, and I'll talk about 4, 5, 6 sectors. Then if you have any questions, you can definitely ask me. My request is that keep your questions to the end, because if you put a question in between, then everybody else will get disturbed. So sectorially speaking, we feel information technology to start off. Forget about information talking. Let me start about banking, because banking and finance is the backbone of any economy. Forget about India, any country in the world. Banking and finance has to be very, very strong. And whatever resolutions that have happened in terms of insolvency and bankruptcy code, IBC, has actually started bringing in stuck money back to the banks. And by the virtue of that money coming back, provisions that were made earlier are returned back. And health of the balance sheet of the banks have improved to a great extent. And like this, more resolutions will also happen as we go forward from here on. So we at Geojit believe that banking and finance is something that you should definitely allocate portfolio, some portion of your portfolio to banking and finance. And over there, up till recently, we were giving more weightage to private sector banks, purely because of the performance. Over the last 5 years, 10 years, if you actually go to see, private sector banks have actually outperformed the public sector banks. But now, those days are gone. Because of these resolutions, even public sector banks will start to perform. The only thing is, stick to the large cap public sector banks or stick to large cap private sector banks. That is very, very important. And as economy grows, financial sector will definitely grow. And I'm sure keeping your weightage first to private and then to selective public sector banks, along with that, NBFCs, non-banking finance companies, is also something that you should look at, especially companies which are associated with housing finance. You all know the recovery in real estate, right? Especially from where I come from in Mumbai, last 10 years best market for real estate. And this recovery is going to stay. So NBFCs which are associated with housing finance companies, NBFCs which are associated with agri-finance, semi-urban and rural India financing, NBFCs which are associated with retail financing. These are the companies in the finance NBFC category that you should look at. So this is your banking, public sector, private sector, as well as your NBFCs. The next sector that you should look at is IT. And let me tell you friends, we at our individual level in the last 18 months, have we started consuming a lot of data? As personal, at a personal level, we are consuming, right? What is this? This is also information technology. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if information technology has become such an integral part of individuals like you and me, then it is very important for companies to have strong IT platforms. And over there, forget about H1, B1 visa or any restrictions and all that. India minus US, Europe, India, Middle East. there is such a huge potential for Indian IT companies to cater to, and it's a humongous opportunity. Primarily, again over here, look at large cap IT companies, but you should not ignore mid cap IT companies also. And if you ask me, then in the last 3 years, certain mid cap IT companies have delivered much better return compared to large cap ITs. So look at fundamentally strong large cap and mid cap IT companies and have an allocation over there. The third sector that I would like to talk about is, right now nobody wants to touch it, and that is auto. And we all know about that chip stroke semiconductor issue, right? But let me tell you, there are enough production facilities, new facilities which have already come up. And these new production facilities are likely to throw in semiconductors shortages into the open market, resolving logistic issues, and the production constraints which are there right now will get resolved. And along with that, friends, Government of India has already spoken about scrappage policy. I hope everybody is aware about it, right? So this scrappage policy will be very beneficial to commercial vehicle manufacturing companies. And again, not going into names, but you all know on roads you have seen enough commercial vehicle, the brand name is written on front of the truck or the bus. You can definitely look at that. And I personally feel, actually when in the last 4 months or 6 months, when initially this semiconductor issue came, entire auto sector was down maybe 5, 6, 7%, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Sectorally. Stock specifically, it may be a little bit more. We at Geojit believe this is a great opportunity. And I'll tell you, migration from ICE engine, that is internal combustion, vehicles driven on fossil fuel, petrol and diesel, and migration to electric vehicles. Earlier, 6 months back or 1 year back, if you travel on the road, you could hardly see 1 or 2 EVs, electric vehicle on the road. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, if you travel 1 kilometer, you will at least see 5 on the road. Am I right? This is the acceptation of customers like you and me to the new technology. Unfortunately, the largest passenger vehicle company in India, again I don't want to name it, but I'm sure you must know it, they are living in denial. They are saying that they will think about launching electric vehicles in 2025. By that time, other companies will have a sizable market share. So, need to look at companies which are technologically advanced in terms of launching new variants of electric vehicles. And going forward, this is going to be the new normal, friends. 100 rupees or 110 rupees diesel, petrol, and almost 100 rupees diesel or 94 rupees diesel from where I come from in Mumbai, it's definitely going to hurt your pocket. An electric vehicle is the technology that is going to go miles going forward from here on. So companies which are associated with commercial vehicle manufacturing, companies which are associated with high-end technology in terms of electric vehicles, companies which are associated with two-wheeler manufacturing, again, electric vehicles in two-wheelers also we have seen, EVs, and there are plenty of them on the road. So look at autos, so your banking, IT, autos. I will talk about 2 sectors simultaneously. And those are commodity sectors, metal and cement. To attain the magical figure of 10% GDP growth, which the late Finance Minister Shri Arun Jaitley, when he had delivered his speech in 2014-15, he had projected 10% GDP growth rate India will achieve. And to achieve that 10% GDP growth rate, we are already at 8.40, right? And today's credit policy is estimated about 9% plus, right? So to achieve that 9%, 9.5 and 10%, it is very necessary that India and India's government spends a lot on infrastructure. Without infrastructure, it is very difficult to attain that magical figure of 10%. And the government has already spoken about spending on Bharat Nirman. I'm sure you must have heard about it. So Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana, affordable housing, housing for all, airports, freeways,